What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to YGOPD, your Yu-Gi-Oh! Professional Development. Popping out this video a little bit early because I'm a bit excited to share this. I finally got my hands on the Traptrix structure decks, and on top of that, Ancient Fairy Dragon has just entered the fray again, back legal into the meta, and makes a lot of things happen for this deck and really boosts the power and the consistency of it. So I wanted to go ahead and showcase this out to you. This is Traptrix. Before I hop into it, though, I want to shout out our new subs of the channel: Paul, the Paytonator, Richard, Gerald, and Barbo. Thank you all so much for joining the channel. If you like what I do, please consider dropping a sub. We are on the road to 1K. That really does mean a lot. Liking and commenting, all that extra stuff really does boost the algorithm and really does help quite a bit. So with all that said, we'll go ahead and hop straight into the deck profile. Okay, we'll go through the main deck, the extra deck, and then do a quick little showcase of either a test hand or a little bit of a combo that gives you an idea of how we utilize Ancient Fairy Dragon. But starting off with the main deck here, our monsters. This is a easy 40 cards here. We have 3 Traptrix Mermelio. Pretty straightforward. This is one of the best starters your deck can have. This is what allows you to get your Holutea and then get your plays going. Really, really powerful card. Nothing has changed for that. Great common reprint there. And then one of the new stars of the show is Boudica. Really great card, searches the field spell, and there's also spot removal for a special summon monster when it hits the field. You got to remember, though, when that banishes something, they don't have to bring back that monster. They can bring back any one of their banished cards. So just be mindful of that. I've kind of fell into that a little bit. So, but nonetheless, you need this card. You need to get the field spell. You want to be able to get your ball rolling. You play a lot of monsters. Getting this to search the field spell is kind of how you play around that. In that same vein, we do play Triple Mantis. Again, this is our third, I would say, main starter, our best starter. This allows you to kind of play and keep going by searching the extender that is the newly released Arachnocampa. This card is insane. This is really kind of only used if you're out of options, but it's still nice to have. And again, you want to see it to be able to play through different hand traps and disruptions. So 3 is definitely needed. And then rounding it out at 14, again, that magic number of seeing at least one of these names in a 5-card hand rounds you out at that 90% chance. That's what the 14 is. 2 Dionea, really 2 is all you need. You're typically getting 1 in your primary combo to reset a trap you might have discarded, and then 1 later on for follow-up. And then, of course, we do play the 1 field spell, the Traptrix Garden. Gives you a double summon protection and is an extender by banishing a monster. Absolutely nuts. And then for our traps, we play the searchable targets of 1 Gravediggers, 1 Floodgate, and 1 Nightmare. This is a bit of a more combo-centric build, so you don't need a ton of these. You just want a reasonable amount of normal traps throughout the build to discard off Holutea and then to either set or reset off cards like Sarah or Dionea. We do, of course, max out on Traptrix Holutea. This is one of your few traps, one of 2 only, that can be activated the turn it's set. That allows you to trigger Sarah and keep playing. So we max out on that, as well as Shade Brigandine, our other main starter of the deck. Really, really powerful cards. And then the last piece of consistency we have here are 2 Parallel Exceed. You can bump this up to 3. Space was a little bit tight. I wanted to fit in a couple of other things, so this is one of the pieces I cut. And then rounding out the consistency engine, we just play Triple Pot of Prosperity. Not much really needs to be said there. If you don't have it, you don't have to play it. You could by all means play the Draw 2 that comes with the structure deck. That's still really, really powerful. But Prosperity, being able to dig really deep and just seeing exactly what you want, is really helpful. So that's kind of it for the general Traptrix piece, as well as just the overall consistency engine. From there, we do play the Etherean Engine. So we have 2 Lily and 1 Regulus. You could get away with playing 1 Lily, 1 Regulus, or if you want to do the Mardell route to have a spare body to then go into the Appaloosa line, you can do that as well. I'm not as big a fan of that, and I really do like Lily, because if you hard open some of your plant names like Boudica or Dionea, being able to link into Sarah and just have Lily live right off the bat is still not bad, and then being able to send what you equipped to then add a card like Etherean Cross, and worst case hands, you still then have the interrupt with the cross, as well as a way to trigger Sarah. So really, really good there. And then, of course, just the 1 disc that lets you search whatever piece you're missing, along with the 1 cross for your added bit of disruption. That's it for the Etherean Engine. And now for the spice of the deck, and what I've really been kind of proud of and enjoyed testing in this deck quite a lot, has been 1 Destrudo, 1 Dragon Ravine, and 1 of the super rare from Photon Hypernova Fairy Ant. These are all accessible ways to essentially get to your Ancient Fairy Dragon. You can change these ratios depending on how you like it, but I think 3 is definitely a solid number here. I'm perfectly fine with that, and I like the diversity of that each of these offer, and you don't feel like you're kind of going overboard by just drawing multiples of the same thing. They can each fill different purposes. Ravine obviously helps you get to Destrudo by ditching a card, getting certain things in the grave that maybe you want to reborn off Dionea, being able to open Ravine, discard a name, normal Dionea, bring back with Destrudo already in grave is nuts. Destrudo just being in your hand or grave as an additional extender to get into the Ancient Fairy Dragon is insane. And then the Fairy Ant is a new card where it just says if there's a plant or insect in either grave, you special it for free. And then it's just a body that you can use again as a level 3 tuner to make your Ancient Fairy Dragon. After that, we round the deck out. Again, we need more normal traps and we need the most powerful tools that we can have at our disposal, and that's evenly matched, and it comes in the structure deck, so it's a great piece to use. If you want to go for imperm or a different normal trap, go ahead, but I think there's no reason not to run one of the best cards in the game and in the meta right now. So that's it for the deck, a clean 40 cards. I'll go ahead and showcase the extra deck and then do a quick little combo / test hand. Okay, for the extra deck, we will start with the Traptrix, of course, 3 Sarah. You have to run 3, absolutely insane card. This is what lets you grind, this is what lets you play. Really just does it all. Amazing that this kindly got a accessible reprint. Not that the others weren't too accessible, but just having it as a common is really, really great for budget players. And then we just do play one of the Link 3 and one of the Link 2. Our Link 3 is what you're using to clear problematic monsters or things that just really you can't get over otherwise. And then Caleria is just your piece of recursion. Really, really solid there. And then we play one of the Pingicula, if that's how you say it, and one Rafflesia. So Rafflesia is pretty straightforward. Most people know this. Great common reprint, by the way. Lets you use a trap hole card that is usable when it meets its activation condition. So if they summon something you want to dump bottomless, you can do that. And then the other one is just our Rhoda or our Searcher to add kind of consistency or get different plays online. If you need a Dionea in rotation, whatever you need, you can add it. And then after that, like I said, since we're playing the Etherean Engine, we have the Aromaseraphy Jasmine, Strenna, and Hyperton. This is the main engine if you're wondering how this works. Jasmine basically contribute the Strenna to then special summon Lily from your deck. That's a plant that gets you Regulus, so then you have the ability to get an Omni Negate plus Hyperton, which can be up to a monster or spell negate or trap negate, depending on what you activate while this is on board to be able to attach. The other nice thing to know is if this is up while you have Ancient Fairy Dragon out and you use its other effect to pop a field spell and gain 1,000, that will also trigger its second effect to just let you search a plant, which is also why I like it a lot. It does really, really help the deck quite a bit. And then last is, this is kind of optional. I don't make this as much, but if you want it in here and you are using the Therians, I don't see why you can't. One Merrymaker, if you can find one lying around, and one of the Sargus. Basically, you're overlaying into this, and then into this, and using it to basically add a Therian from your deck to your hand. So again, it just helps you get that engine a little bit quicker. And then we play so many Xyz, you have to play at least one of the Zeus. And then for our Synchros, of course, the Ancient Fairy Dragon, newly brought back, absolutely insane card, does multiple things, lets you pop a field spell, gain 1,000 life points to help trigger things like Jasmine, and then search a different field spell, so you can get Ravine, you can get Disc, you can get the Traptrix field spell, and then if you want, you can use that Traptrix field spell, banish this, get another body, just make it an extender, and then one Circle of the Fairies. This is a common from Photon Hypernova. Again, if you have some bulk lying around, dig through it, you'll find one of these, hopefully. This is basically a double summon or just an additional summon for your, I think it's insects and plants or just plants. But this is really helpful if you have one of your tuners, but you don't have a field spell, but you still want to utilize it and keep playing. This really, really helps. So that's it for the extra deck. That's it for the main deck. We'll go ahead and showcase a quick combo / test hand. Okay, giving this a shuffle. And then trying to showcase here the Ancient Fairy Dragon line. So Evenly, Prosperity, Pudica, Mermelio, Gravediggers, and then we can Prosperity for 6. I'll talk about that logic for just a second. Typically, I'll banish Circle of Fairies, the Sargus, the Merrymaker, one Sarah, one of the Link 3, because again, we're going first, and one of our Searcher. You can do whatever you want. You don't have to go for 6, but if you're wondering how do you do that, this is where I land, just because, again, we're trying to be greedy. We want to hit that Ancient Fairy Dragon line, especially since we have an access point to a field spell. So that's where I come from for that. And again, of course, you could always normal summon Pudica first and search the field spell. So that's what we're actually going to do. I'll set that back there for a second. Normal, use the effect, and we'll go ahead and add the garden to our hand. And then from there, then we'll use the prosperity and look at our next 6. So I'll slide these down just a bit, and we'll look at those top 6. We hit shade, prosperity, destrudo, disc, Myrmelio, and Myrmelio. So I'm going to take destrudo just to showcase the 2 different ways and how you can access the field spell with this deck. Okay, so we'll add that to our hand. Pudica is normal summoned. And then from here, what we can go ahead and do is activate our field spell over here. And then what we can do is go ahead and we could link into Sarah, but I'm actually just going to normal the Myrmelio first to trigger its effect to get a copy of Holutea. And then from there, what I'm going to do is go ahead and link a Pudica away into a copy of Sarah. And these are our 6 that we managed face down earlier that I mentioned. So we'll go ahead and link into a copy of Sarah here. Then we can activate and we can go ahead and pitch. Let's go ahead and pitch the Gravediggers just because then we can utilize Sarah's effect after we summon to then go ahead and search a copy of Dionea. Now, in reality, this hand is not necessarily showing the most perfect way to play through Nib, but if you're wondering how you do that, you basically make Strenna by your 5th summon. That helps you play through Nib, or you get to do the Sargus line and just force search Regulus, so even if they Nib, you can still summon the Regulus on the follow-up after they Nib to still give you an Omni Negate. But with that said, we'll keep going here. So we have the Sarah, we have the Holutea, we have the Myrmelio, so we have plenty of stuff we can work with here. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we are going to, I want to do the Jasmine line. So we'll go ahead and link off a Dionea and a Sarah. Well, actually, we don't even have to do the Jasmine line here. So I'll showcase 2 different ways that you can get to the Etherean package in this case. The first will be with linking. So we can go ahead and make these 2, take those away, and go into a copy of our Jasmine. And then you can go ahead and overlay these 2 into a copy of your Strenna. Go ahead and throw Strenna right there. And so this is the first way you can access the Therians and how the deck bridges. You could detach if you want and then add back a Dionea to your hand for follow-up. But Jasmine basically will tribute the Strenna. I'm going to set this off to the side just for a second to showcase the couple differences, right? You'll get Lily, and then Strenna's effect will trigger, putting that up there for just a second, to then get you a Hyperton back over top of the Strenna. And then Lily can then get rid of itself to search Disc, and Disc can search Regulus. So that's one way you can do it and get the Omni Negate. The second way that you can kind of utilize this is, I'm going to rewind just a bit, is we'll put all this back. Lily can go back. And then the Jasmine can also go back. And then we're still working with the Holutea, the Myrmelio, the Sarah, and the Dionea. So the second way you can do it is by utilizing Destrudo should you want. So the way we can do that is we will pay half for Destrudo, special summon it out. I'm going to synchro with one of our non-plants just in case we still want to keep that alive. Destrudo then goes to the bottom of the deck, and we can then special summon the Ancient Fairy Dragon. Really, really powerful card right here. And then we can do a couple different things. So what I kind of want to do first is I'm actually going to overlay these 2 into a copy of Strenna. Go ahead and make the Strenna. And then we'll use the Strenna's effect, detach the Dionea, and then add back the, let's do the Pudica because why not? And then from here, and the Gravediggers obviously way back when should have been reset off the Dionea, just calling that out there. And now what you can kind of do here is you can do a couple different things. We're going to go ahead and use the Ancient Fairy Dragon, special the Pudica from our hand. And then what we can do is we can still actually, if you want to go ahead and use Ancient Fairy Dragon to get Disc here, you can. So that's what I'm actually going to do. I'm going to do it a little bit differently, but I'm going to get rid of these 2. And I'm going to make a copy of Jasmine. And then I will go ahead and just Jasmine here, getting rid of the Strenna to then get a Lily. And we'll put Lily, making sure it points to the proper area. And then what we can go ahead and do from there is we will then trigger let's trigger the Lily, well, and also the Strenna, right, to get us back our Hyperton. We'll go ahead and do that because Strenna was tributed. And then from there, what we can go ahead and do is trigger the lily, and we're going to get rid of the lily to then search a copy of Cross here specifically. Because we have Ancient Fairy Dragon to get the disc, we have extra interruption in the form of Cross. And so what we're going to go ahead and do now is we will trigger the Ancient Fairy Dragon, popping the field spell, gaining 1,000 life points, and then adding a different field spell from our deck to our hand. So we'll go ahead and add Disc, and that will trigger Jasmine's secondary effect to then add another plant from our deck to our hand. So in this case, even though we used all the Pudikas and the Dianeas in our first play, we can still get a Dianea for follow-up. And again, if you want to prioritize keeping Sarah on board, just use the first route where you go straight into Jasmine. Don't get rid of the extra names for the Ancient Fairy, but so you can have that. And then from here, we can go ahead, activate the disc, use the disc effect to then get a copy of Regulus from our deck to our hand. And then we can go ahead and special the Regulus, using the Regulus effect to equip a Lily from our grave. And then now you have Cross as well. So you have the Evenly for follow-up, the Dianea for follow-up, then you have a Gravediggers, a Cross, a Lily, a Hyperton, and a Regulus. Sorry, not Lily, but a Regulus, as well as Disc for follow-up on the next turn. So it's pretty straightforward, but there's a lot of different things you can utilize with this. You can obviously use the Traptrix Garden, if this is what you searched instead of Disc, given you opened this or Ravine, to banish the Ancient Fairy Dragon off of Garden to get another body on board for the Traptrix engine and keep playing. There's just a ton of different routes and ways you can utilize this. I wanted to showcase this just one example. This doesn't cover everything. If you want a full in-depth guide on how this works and all the combos and stuff, I'm happy to do that. But I wanted to just give a taste and really get this out quite quickly. So with all that said, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next Sunday. Later.